Are you actually underachieving, or are you just tired of being the gifted kid? Many of the world's most brilliant minds are intentionally sabotaging their careers and hiding in mediocre jobs. They aren't lazy. They are terrified. Let's explore why the smartest move you ever made might be shrinking your own potential, because from the outside, it looks confusing. You were the one teachers praised, the one family members pointed at during gatherings. This one will go far. This one is special. This one is different. And maybe you were. You understood things faster, saw patterns others didn't, asked deeper questions, and didn't just want answers but meaning. But somewhere along the way, something shifted, and instead of chasing greatness you chose safety, instead of ambition you chose quiet, instead of the spotlight you chose invisibility. When you grow up labeled as gifted, your identity fuses with performance. What psychology calls identity foreclosure, where your sense of self becomes locked into a single role before you've had space to explore who you actually are. You weren't just a kid, you were the smart one, and once intelligence becomes your identity, failure stops feeling like an event and starts feeling like an existential threat. If you try something big and fail, you're not just someone who failed, you're no longer special, which triggers ego defense mechanisms like avoidance to protect the image you've always been. Praise for. If you never fully try, you never fully disprove the myth of your potential, you preserve the fantasy and can always say, I could have done more, if I wanted to. And that illusion feels safer than risking proof that you might not be extraordinary after all. High potential attracts attention, attention creates pressure, and pressure exposes you, which is why many gifted individuals develop social evaluation anxiety, a heightened sensitivity to being watched, judged, and measured. When you succeed once, expectations double. When you succeed twice, they triple, and eventually achievement stops feeling like freedom and starts feeling like surveillance. Every move feels analyzed, every mistake magnified, every delay questioned. So the easiest way to escape scrutiny becomes simple: shrink. If you stay slightly under the radar and perform well enough, people stop expecting miracles, and you avoid both criticism and worship because being admired is just another form of pressure. If love once felt conditional and tied to achievement, you may have formed an anxious attachment pattern with success itself. You don't chase it freely, you manage it, ration it, downplay it, and sometimes hide it because being seen feels dangerous. Gifted children often grow into adults with crippling maladaptive perfectionism. When things came easily early on, you didn't build tolerance for struggle. You built a standard that says you should excel without visible effort. The first time effort becomes necessary, cognitive distortions like all or nothing thinking appear. If it's not exceptional, it's worthless. If it's not the best, it's embarrassing. If it's not flawless, it's proof you've declined. So instead of producing imperfect work, you procrastinate. Instead of launching, you overthink. Instead of risking mediocrity, you withdraw entirely. And from the outside, it looks like underachievement, even though internally it's self-protection. The smarter you are, the more aware you become of how far you could go, but you're also hyper-aware of how far others have gone. And constant upward social comparison makes ordinary milestones feel like failure. You internalized a future of exceptionalism, so anything less than extraordinary feels disappointing. Yet chasing extraordinary is exhausting when you see the stress, obsession, and scrutiny that often come with it. Slowly a new value system forms: peace over prestige, autonomy over applause, depth over dominance. And from the outside it looks like settling, but inside it feels like survival. Choosing a quiet life doesn't mean you killed your ambition. It means you're living with a constant hum of what if. What if you applied? What if you launched? What if you committed fully? A pattern psychologists call counterfactual thinking. Seeing multiple possible futures so clearly can create decision paralysis, because when you believe you could be 5 different things, choosing one feels like killing the others. So sometimes you choose none and drift into something safe and sustainable. Here's what stings. Sometimes shrinking isn't wisdom but fear disguised as minimalism. And the real question becomes whether your quiet life is intentional or defensive. You're not lazy, incapable, or broken. You're protecting an identity that was built too early and praised too loudly. And protection feels reasonable until it starts costing you your own expansion. Maybe the goal isn't to become the prodigy everyone predicted, but to separate your worth from your output. Redefine intelligence as adaptability, and allow yourself to try without attaching your entire identity to the outcome. You don't have to choose between greatness and peace, but you do have to decide whether your quiet life is intentional or defensive, because potential isn't something you owe the world. It's something you owe yourself the courage to explore without fear dictating the boundaries. If this felt uncomfortably accurate, reflect on where you might be shrinking out of fear rather than choice. And if this kind of psychological decoding resonates with you, stay close. There's more beneath the surface than most people are willing to see,